Hello everyone! Welcome to another Lunch and Learn. My name is Katie Cuppy and I'm a Braille instructor here at Savvy. Today I'm going to teach you a little bit more about Braille. We're going to talk about contractions, what they are, how they're used. Then I'm going to teach you a couple of contractions. But first, I just want to really highlight the importance of Braille. I know I touched on this last time, but I really want to emphasize how critical it is for blind people to know this very important skill. Shockingly, less than 10% of blind people know Braille. However, 90% of blind people who are employed know Braille. So Braille really is essential for a blind person to find success in employment and in school as well. So today we're going to be talking about one of the most important parts of Braille, and that is contractions. So for those of you who don't know, contractions are basically like Braille shorthand. So the purpose of contractions is to really try to reduce the number of cells that are taken up by a word. The reason why we use contractions is because Braille is really big. It takes up a lot more space on a page than print does. I'm sure many of you who are familiar with Braille have seen books that are quite a few volumes long, and that's with contractions. Imagine how long our books would be if we didn't have contractions. So in Braille, there are 180 contractions. So I know that sounds like a lot, but a lot of the contractions are pretty straightforward, and once you learn them and memorize them, you'll be surprised at how much easier your Braille really is. Contractions make both reading and writing a lot faster because you're not taking up as many cells. So there are two main types of contractions. There are whole word contractions, which is a contraction that stands for an entire word, or there are part word contractions, which are contractions that stand for parts of words. Now within those two, there are more categories that we use to break down types of contractions, but that's mainly what you need to know, is that there are some contractions for parts of words, some for entire words, and there are some special ones that can do both. But for today, I thought I would teach you a couple of contractions that are whole word contractions. We call these contractions alphabetic word signs because they're contractions that correspond with each letter of the alphabet. So in Braille, when you see a single letter standing alone, it represents a word. Almost all of the letters in the alphabet have a corresponding word, and we're going to go through them right now. So in front of me, I have a muffin tin. This muffin tin has 12 slots, and I have it flipped so that I have 3 rows of 4. So if you picture dividing that muffin tin in half, that gives you 2 Braille cells. So I'm going to be in this left part of my muffin tin, just working on this first cell over here. And we're going to go over some alphabetic word signs. The first one is A. A doesn't have one because A standing alone is just A. So then the second one, the second letter of the alphabet for B, dots 1 and 2, is the contraction for but, B-U-T. Then we have C, which is dots 1 and 4. And C by itself means the word can. Next, we have, for the letter D, the contraction is do. Now for E, which is dots 1 and 5, we have every, and for F, which is 1, 2, and 4, an F by itself is from, then a G, which is 1, 2, 4, and 5, a G by itself is go. Now I'm going to take away that dot 4 from that G, leaving just a 1, 2, 5 for H, and an H by itself is have. Now an I, dots 2 and 4, by itself, again, is just the letter I. But for J, 2, 4, and 5, the contraction is just. All right, now down to K, which is 1 and 3. K is knowledge. It's one of my favorites. Knowledge for K. Then for L, 1, 2, 3, is the word like. Now for M, an M by itself means more. And an M is dots 1, 3, and 4. Then I'm going to add a dot 5 to that for an N. And an N by itself is the word not. Now for the O, there's no contraction for the letter O by itself. So we've got nothing for the letter O. P, dots 1, 2, 3, 4, is people. All right, now I'm going to add a dot 5 to that, and that'll make Q. And the contraction for Q is quite. Now I'm going to take away a dot 4, leaving 1, 2, 3, and 5 for an R. And an R by itself stands for rather. Okay, now I'm going to make an S, which is 2, 3, and 4. An S by itself is so. Now a T, which is 2, 3, 4, 5. A T by itself is that. Now we're going to the U, which is 1, 3, and 6. And a U by itself is us. Now I'm going to add a dot 2 to that for the letter V, which is very. Now I'm going to make a W, which is 2, 4, 5, and 6. And a W is the word will, W-I-L-L. Now an X. X is kind of an odd one. X means it, I-T. A good way to remember that one is like the word exit. So X is it. Now Y is the word you. And finally the Z is another strange one. Z stands for the word as. So that's a quick rundown of the alphabetic word signs. And again, those can be used just standing by themselves. A common question that people have is, can you add letters to them? So for example, if you wanted to write the word liked, could you add the letter D to the L standing alone? And the answer is no, because it would be read as just LD. So these contractions can only be used by themselves, standing alone. If you wanted to write the word liked, you would have to write it out. Now, like I said, there are many other types of contractions. There are contractions that can use a couple of different cells. So we have short form contractions, which are contractions that use multiple letters to represent a word. So for example, there is a contraction for friend, and that is just an F and an R. So kind of like the alphabetic word signs, if you just see an F and an R standing alone, that means the word friend. There are also contractions, like I said, that stand for parts of words. So for example, we have a contraction for ED, and that is 1, 2, 4, and 6. So just that one cell stands for ED. So there are 5 other main contractions that are really commonly used, and knowing them can really help your reading and writing speed. So I'm just going to teach them to you really quick. We have and, for, of, the, and with. So first, for and, we have dots 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. So that's for and. So that can be used standing by itself, but it's also really cool because it can be used inside of a word, like the word Sandy. Next is another really important one, for. And for is just all 6 dots. It's a full cell. So a full cell standing alone or within a word means the word for. Now we have of, and of is dots 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. Next we have the, which is 2, 3, 4, and 6. You can even use that in words like other, or brother, or them. And the last really key one that'll make your life a lot easier is with. And with is dots 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that was just a quick rundown of contractions. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it and learned something new. Keep on brailing, and thank you for joining me for Lunch and Learn. Bye everyone!